Hello and welcome to Walking and Talking with Mrs. Smith. I'm Mrs. Smith and I'm a Christian, and my walks and talks are based around all things Christian related. If you've joined me before, you'll know that I'm not theologically trained. I just amble about in hopefully pretty or interesting places, thinking about various subjects from a Christian point of view. But if you have joined me before, welcome back and thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you are new here and you enjoy my ramblings, please do give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and please subscribe to my channel so you'll know when my next video comes out. Incidentally, there have been some really lovely comments on my videos, and I do thank you all sincerely for watching and commenting. I really do appreciate it. And remember, if there's a subject you would like me to walk and talk about from a Christian point of view, please pop it in the comments and I'll do my best. And please feel free to disagree with me in the comments too, or write a different perspective that I haven't thought of. I do love reading all your comments, but please do be kind, as remember, these are always just my own thoughts and my own opinions. So today we have come, I say we because my husband's here with me today, and we have come to Melford Hall near Sudbury in Suffolk. It's a National Trust property actually. It's absolutely beautiful. I think the same family have been in situ since the 1700s, and one of the cousins who lived here was a cousin of Beatrix Potter, and Beatrix Potter wrote several of her stories here, including Jemima Puddle Duck as well. So if you're ever near here, please do come and have a look. It is a beautiful place. So I'm just going to walk down the stairs and look where I'm going so I don't fall down, and then we'll go for a little walk in the grounds. It's very hot today. There is a little bit of wind, so I do apologise if you can hear a little bit of wind in the background. I'm not using the microphone today. So this last week I've been thinking about how I've started to change the older that I've got. And I've noticed that one of the ways I've started to change is that I've begun to occasionally enjoy my own company just a little bit more, you know, going off and being quiet by myself sometimes. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my husband and family and friends to bits, and I love spending time with them all. And just to let you know, actually, my husband and I are self-employed. We work together, we socialise together, and we both love that, and we feel very blessed that we're able to live our lives in that way. And I absolutely do get how lucky I am. But sometimes I just want, maybe even need, to be by myself just for a little while, to chill out, to pray, to rest in my own company for a while. And one way I sometimes do this is to go for a walk, much like now. Or sometimes I go to bed a bit early and just read or relax to music and just recharge my batteries, really. I read in the Bible recently, in Luke chapter 5, I think it was, in the New International Version that I was reading, that crowds of people came to hear Jesus speaking, and obviously went to Jesus to be healed of their sicknesses, but that Jesus often withdrew to quiet, lonely places and prayed. And I often think we can just keep going and going, you know, much like, do you remember the old, if you're from the UK, if you remember the old Energizer battery bunny in the UK adverts years ago, I think it was in the 70s, where he'd be banging the cymbals and suddenly he'd run out of juice. Like I sometimes feel like that. And Jesus in that passage seemed to know that for him, solitude now and again was a good antidote to having been ridiculously busy. He needed to change from being a human doing to a human being, I suppose. So this week, I guess I've been thinking about how there can be a big difference between being alone and being lonely. I just want to say at this point, actually, that if you know anyone who lives on their own, especially if it's someone elderly or maybe someone with mobility issues, please do go and check on them sometimes and make sure they're okay. Not everyone who lives alone is lonely, obviously, but some people are. And loneliness born out of isolation is a very different thing and can be really hard to live with. But for those of us more like the Energizer battery bunny from those adverts, who lead pretty busy lives, being alone sometimes can be a good thing. I was actually reading about a German Christian theologian and pastor called, I'm going to get this wrong, I'm going to get this name wrong, okay, so please don't moan at me in the comments. But I believe he was called Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He was alive during the Second World War, but he'd been arrested for opposing Hitler and he was in prison. But while he was in there, he wrote letters to his fiancée. The last letter she received, dated around Christmas time in 1944, I think. He was writing about the war which had separated them both. And he wrote, and I've got it written down here, so I'm just going to read it so I don't forget what he said. He wrote, "These will be quiet days in our homes, but I have had the experience over and over again that the quieter it is around me, the clearer do I feel a connection to you. It is as though in solitude the soul develops senses which we hardly know in everyday life. Therefore, I have not felt lonely or abandoned for one moment." I mean, to be honest, that really spoke to me. I just want to read that bit again. The quieter it is around me, the clearer do I feel a connection to you. It is as though in solitude the soul develops senses which we hardly know in everyday life. It's like he's basically saying that during his time alone, everything else just melts away, and he's able to reflect more clearly on how he feels, on how much his fiancée means to him, on what's important, and his mind becomes clearer. So we can be very alone without feeling lonely. In fact, I feel like those times of solitude might even be necessary respite for some of us to sort of be able to cope with the pressures of today's life, like the pandemic, for example, that we've been experiencing over the last few years, or just, with our own personal struggles. So it's good for us, it's good for me, especially if we do have busy lives, to take these quiet moments by ourselves and just be still in our own company. I mean, for me, I guess I rest in God's company. I pray, I reflect, and I recharge my drained batteries. Actually, just stop them for a minute just to see again how beautiful this is. I've come this way because there are families and children, and I'm trying to avoid getting children in my videos. Actually, thinking about reflecting, I was just saying that I rest and I reflect and I pray. I've just had an image come into my mind of the reflection that you get in moving water, like in a river or a stream. You know how on a clear day, when a body of water is moving, you can see the reflection, but it's all wibbly wobbly, all rippled, like the reflection is all distorted. But when the water quietens and becomes still, you can see the reflection more clearly, like looking in a mirror almost. I was just thinking, maybe it's the same for us, you know? Like when we still ourselves, when we sit quietly, we're able to reflect properly. Everything stops being distorted, everything stays still. And maybe we see things more clearly. To be honest, I used to feel a bit guilty for taking time out just for myself. But as I've gotten older, I can definitely see the benefits of quiet and still moments just on my own. I really wish that I'd realised that years ago. I'm going to stop there. As I say, if you do watch these videos and you've been liking them, please do give them a like, a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me again. I'm going to go and get out of the sun because it's baking hot here. And I'll see you next time. Bye.